Hello everyone, this is Claudia from bubblespa.com, and in this next card I wanted it to be really clean and simple. So I basically chose a stamp that is quite big, that can encompass the full width of the card. This is a Crafter's Companion stamp, and I use my distress markers to color it in. So the only difference is that this Crafter's Companion card that I will link to in the description of this video, I have the Dutch version. What I will link to is the English version, because I couldn't find the Dutch version anymore. Apparently they do also Dutch versions. I bought it in Holland. But the only differences are on the sentiments themselves. So my sentiments are in Dutch, your sentiments may be in English, which is fine. What I did there is I mounted, this is an unmounted stamp, so I mounted on some easy mount, and then I stamped it with some VersaFine Onyx black ink, which if you let dry it won't smudge if you use watercolors, so it's really nice, and black of the lines is really strong. And I'm using actually the colored image that is on the stamp pack as a guide to how I'm going to make my colors. I didn't really have the time to think of different colors, and sometimes I find it difficult to come up with totally new different colors. So I said, well, why not use the stamp as an example, because the colors are really cool. So I'm trying to match the colors. Of course I have a feeling those were done with Copic markers. I don't have Copics, but as a watercolor I use the distress inks, distress markers, and the way I do it to get a good coverage is I scribble them on an acrylic block, and then I'm picking up the color with a water brush. Then when I'm going to the next color, I'm just wiping everything out from the block and putting the next color. Here, as you see, this gray actually has a red tint to it, and that is because I totally forgot to clean my brush. So if you're reproducing this card, try not to forget to clean your brush in between the colors. I use a baby wipe next to me to clean it, but sometimes I forget and I get this messy stuff, but it's not really that messy. It actually looks quite cool, I mean, in my opinion. So I just let it there. I didn't want to restart again everything. Now, I tried this card previously, and I tried it with a piece of Nina cardstock, which was 110 pounds. What I did notice is that the cardstock, even though it was very heavy, it kept peeling off, and I hate peeling off. So I made the base card out of actually watercolor paper, and this watercolor paper is also from Crafter's Companion, and it comes in 2 sheets of A4, so not letter sizes but A4. That's why I had to snip in the beginning a little bit of the card, because it's a bit longer than 11 inches. Now what I notice with my black soot distress marker is that if I scribble it on the block and then I pick it up, it turns into a very much a gray color, and to make the bottom of that post office box, I needed to actually go in with the marker itself on the paper and scribble up color, otherwise I couldn't make it dark enough. So I don't know how your black soot works, but that's how I noticed on mine. All the colors that I used I'm going to be linking on my blog post and also in the description of this video, so I'm not going to tell them while I'm coloring. But what you notice here is if there's a small space, for example the hat on the cat, I go directly with the marker on the paper and then I move the color around. If it's a larger space, I do the opposite. I scribble on the block and then I pick it up with a water brush. So these are a few tips if you want to have nice smooth colors. If you try directly the marker on the paper on a very large portion, then you're gonna have strikes from the marker, and that's not really nice. So that's why I do it this way. I was checking on the back to see if the color actually bled through, and it didn't, only in very small space, but that really didn't matter. So good watercolor paper, I have to say. I stamped also with VersaFine Onyx Black a really nice sentiment from Simon Says Stamp, and it's a Warm Holiday Wishes. I think it was from last year's Christmas pack or something. I'll have a link to that as well. And so far the front of the card looks really cool. I had one of the sentiments that was in the stamp set, and it's in Dutch, and it translates to something: with this card I want to let you know that I'm thinking of you and I haven't forgotten you. Now that little sentiment, I didn't cut it correctly, and it touched the ink pad and made a mess a little bit around it, but I can fix that with the white gel pen. So if I go with the white gel pen on top of the little smudges of ink there, it just makes it really nice. And I'm doing the same with the white gel pen, because I kind of colored over all those white snowflakes there, and I didn't want to let them gray. I wanted to really make them pop, so I go with the white gel pen always. Now I was looking at some Wink of Stella, and I wanted the clear, so I was checking which one is the clear, which one is the silver one, and then I covered almost everything in this nice little shimmer glittery Wink of Stella, and that really gives it the pop I need. I didn't want to put anything extra like sequins or anything, because I wanted this to be a really simple card, and it turned out super great. After I showed it to my husband, he said, well, the inside of the card actually needs something extra. He always comes with this kind of ideas. So I'm going to show you what I did more on the inside of the card. Of course, it's just optional, and kind of I always ask my husband for his opinion on every card. So yeah, I opened the card and I took the same stamp, I inked it up, and then on a piece of scratch paper I stamped it around 4 times, so that I get, you know, 4th generation stamping, or 3 times. I really wanted a very light impression, and the VersaFine Onyx Black ink is really strong, so you do have to stamp it like 4 times to get this light of an impression. So I stamped it a little bit in the corner, and I'm going to watercolor it with the same colors I used, but very much watered down. So I'm gonna put a lot of water, and it's gonna be a very light coloring. So that kind of makes the inside of the card also look nice, and not so, because I stamped that sentiment right smack in the middle, and maybe that I shouldn't have stamped it in the middle, but this kind of fixes the balance of the inside of the card. So as you can see, I'm putting a lot of water, and the colors are really watered down, and they kind of look totally different, but you know, they're just the same colors I used for the other part. So I hope you enjoyed this card. I had this stamp set for a very long time, and I never used it, but I'm kind of rediscovering all the lost stamps I have and I never used, and that is why I'm not really going for all the new stamp sets that are, I mean, they're gorgeous. I would love to buy them all, but I think that I have enough stamps in my stash to last me forever, and even Christmas stamps that I never used so far. Anyway, this was kind of it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button if you want to see even more cards like this. And I really appreciate all you guys watching me, and thank you again, and have a nice holidays.